Let's go ahead and get started, everyone. Good morning. If you don't already know me, my name is Kirsten Rosso. I'm the manager of customer marketing here at Hireology. Thanks for joining us today for our third Customer Connect event of 2023, and I'm excited to be the moderator. We've got a packed agenda. So first, we're going to hear from our CEO, Adam Robinson. He's going to share how data from our recent applicant study really shined a light on the importance of building relationships with talent. Then we'll hear from Kim and Ryan on our product team. We're going to take a deeper look into how tools within Hireology support and drive this shift from traditional recruitment to a talent-centric strategy. And then finally, we'll have Tennille Schmidt will round us out with some practical tips on how Brand Hospitality has implemented campaigns and their strategy around managing and maintaining relationships with talent pools. We will have a formal question section at the end, but you're welcome to ask questions throughout this, just like we've done in the past. We have Jess Baldwin, our customer marketing lead, monitoring the chat. She'll answer questions throughout. If there is a question that she thinks would be better deemed for the larger audience, we might save it and address it at the end, so just note that. There is the webinar chat, but there's also the Q&A function. For questions about the product or the presentation, I would ask that you try to use the Q&A function. It's a little easier for us to track, make sure your question doesn't get missed. We can mark things as answered, that kind of thing. So it's for everyone's benefit here. But with that said, we will go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Adam.
Thanks, Kirsten, and welcome everybody to Customer Connect September 2023. Hope everyone had a great summer. We're excited to share with you lots of great market information as well as information about the platform and some success experiences that Tennille will share from Brant, and to take in your questions. So let's dive right into that. So as always, I like to start out our Customer Connect with an overview of where we are in the job market. And the overall job market has experienced some cooling, let's say, over the last few months compared to what we saw over the last couple of years. In fact, the ratio of unemployed workers to jobs is now closer to 1.5 to 1, down from 2 to 1 at the end of last year. But certainly not all industries are experiencing the same job market, and those of you on the call know that firsthand. Businesses that largely hire knowledge-based or office workers are in an employment recession, frankly. They're hiring less, and they're really having no problem finding people for the roles they do have open. But for the industries represented by you all on this call, we're really still in the thick of it when it comes to finding people to take our most critical jobs. And that's because while the labor shortage might be easing overall, a massive shortage still remains in the skilled and hourly labor sectors. So we think auto mechanics, certified nursing assistants, things like that. And there are a couple of reasons for this. First, these jobs are physically demanding. You're on your feet all day, right? So think nurses, think housekeepers. Second, traditionally, these types of jobs don't come with the flexibility and benefits you might think of when you think of office type work, although this is changing pretty rapidly. And then third, the workforce is aged. Boomers are retiring, and baby boomers were far more likely to have taken these types of jobs previously. And so you compare that to younger generations who are mostly taught that their only option is four-year college degrees rather than pursuing tech or trade careers, and we're really reaping what we've sown over the last 2 decades, which is a shortage of available talent for hourly work. And so as a result, we're finding that many of our customers like you are experiencing high turnover, requiring a constant need for recruitment and pipeline generation. That's certainly nothing new, but employees and prospective talent really throughout the hiring process can lose steam if you go too slow, and they need to be engaged and nurtured throughout the process. And then finally, overall, shrinking applicant pools of people with very specific skills necessary for the industries represented here. And so I want to, that preface really leads into my topic for today, which is relationship-based recruiting. And so because many of the industries we all represent here today are facing a unique challenge when it comes to the job market, I think it's important to approach recruiting from a unique perspective. You can't do what we've always done at a time when the job market is rapidly changing. So let me ask this. Think about it for yourself. On average, where do your best hires come from? Well, more often than not, your best hires come from relationships you or your employees have built over time. It's becoming far less common to post a job and have dozens of folks you've never met before knocking on your door begging for the job. You hire one and then you're done. I mean, that's really not happening for anybody right now. Most of the time, there are other channels mixed in there, other people you've already been in touch with, maybe individuals who are candidates for a different job but weren't a right fit, maybe internal candidates, maybe former employees, or referrals from existing and former staff. And while job boards and more traditional channels are absolutely critical aspect of a great hiring strategy today and will continue to be, and can be a great way to introduce you to candidates that you will eventually hire, it's becoming less common for these channels to really be the sole source leading to direct hires right away, or really the sole source of talent. And so more often than not, your best hires are coming now from relationships that you've built over time. Those relationships could absolutely have started with a posted ad, but really over time, the winning strategy is to build relationships and turn your candidate database into a real asset for your business. So let me give you an example. Let's say you have a new role you need to fill. You post it on a job board and other channels, and you start getting candidates from there. And you also reach out to some candidates you didn't hire for a previous role whom you liked, but maybe timing wasn't right or they weren't quite the right fit at the time. And you also share the job internally and you start driving employee referrals, and you consider internal moves also. So you now have dozens of candidates from lots of different channels. So which candidates out of those are you going to be more likely to hire? The chances are the people you've met before, rather than the brand new applicants who are essentially strangers to you, are the ones that are highest likely to be the fit and to be hired. And so someone you interviewed already who came through a job board months ago for a different job, or maybe a referral from a top performer in your company, or even an internal hire from a different team. These candidates you already have familiarity with, 9 times out of 10, are more likely to be hired for the role. And so let's take a step back here. We know that great hires almost always come from great relationships. So why does the typical hiring process work counter to that concept? I mean, traditionally, the process goes like this. You open up a new role, you post it on job boards or other channels, you get some candidates who are all new to you, you go through your hiring process, you pick one of them for the role. Then the next time you have to hire, it's a brand new job, and you start that process all over again from scratch. It's very linear. It feels transactional, and it's singularly focused on one role and one set of candidates. Then you move on and you start over. It doesn't really leave room for this idea that anyone you interact with from a talent standpoint over time should be considered a possible candidate for any role in the future. And so think about it like your sales and marketing efforts. I mean, recruiting at its core is a sales and marketing process. And so whether a contact is a new prospect or a prospect that's deep in your sales funnel, or whether they're already a customer, your sales teams are constantly engaging with them to build that relationship over time. And so let's bring a relevant analogy to illustrate this further. Apple. So probably every one of us in this room owns at least one Apple product. Apple's arguably one of the most iconic brands in the world when you think about consumer marketing and brand recognition and loyalty. And over the years, their awareness campaigns, which you'll see on the right, have been memorable to say the least. In these examples, they're marketing to a specific group of people who have never used their products. But Apple, like so many other consumer brands, doesn't just focus on awareness or attracting new customers. They're also conducting targeted nurturing of existing customers over time. So in the emails here, you'll see that they know when you're up for renewal on a particular service and what phone you have, and they can send you specific offers to upgrade to the next best thing. And given that they also know what device you have, they'll send you emails with user tips to keep you using the product. They're also constantly marketing new products to you to get you to buy more. It's the reason why it's, among the most valuable companies in the world. And it's a constant cycle of different messaging based on their relationship with you as the customer and where you are in their funnel. It doesn't just end once you make a purchase. Instead, it keeps you engaged with their brand over the lifetime of your relationship with them. And of course, this isn't unique to Apple, and this certainly isn't a new concept. And this is generally how consumer marketing works. But what we want to do here in our recruiting teams is bring that concept to recruiting. The same should be true for the relationship you are building with your talent as you build your pipeline. It's not one and done. It's not transactional, and it's certainly not start from scratch every time you have a new role to fill. So let's take a look at how this might play out here on the next slide. So instead of approaching hiring from a linear perspective, it's important to look at it more of as a flywheel where you're constantly engaging with and nurturing your database of connections. So much like it from a sales perspective, where you have prospects at all levels of the funnel, new customers, long-term or loyal customers, and former or churned customers, you're communicating with these individuals at all times with different messages based on where they are in their relationship with you. So the same can be said for different connections for talent. You have applicants, you have candidates, both current and former, you have new employees, you have veterans working for you, veteran employees, you have alumni, former employees, and you can nurture these individuals with different messages to have a continuously warm pipeline of talent from multiple categories. And so maybe your veteran employees are a good fit for new roles in different departments, or your alumni can connect you with their peers once they leave, or maybe they're interested in coming back. Or a candidate for a previous role, we like to call silver medalists, they were the runner-up, but they were maybe hireable for a different role later down the line. And so when you get this constant cycle of nurturing engagement right over time, you'll always have someone bubbling up to the top that's a fit for whatever new role you have coming up, and you can do it without having to start from scratch, which is the way we've been doing it forever in talent acquisition. And so the key here is that approaching hiring in this way also helps you decrease your time to hire, which is where the rubber meets the road. So if you're looking to hire someone you already know and you feel comfortable with, it's of course going to take you a lot less time to be confident in your decision. You're going to move faster. And you're essentially doing all the formalities of hiring well ahead of the actual hire, making it much easier and efficient to get the right people in the right seats faster when new roles are coming up. And that's really the name of the game in this job market. So let's dig deeper into the importance of these different talent audiences. So starting with alumni, in our most recent applicant research report, which is based on a survey of thousands of job seekers and is released by our own team every summer, we asked survey respondents if they'd be interested in returning to companies that they worked for in the past. 67%, 2/3 said yes, absolutely. So again, stop thinking of recruiting as a linear concept where you need to find a net new applicant for every job you open up. And then when your people leave, that's it, they're done, relationship's over. If an employee performed well at your org and they're eligible for rehire, but maybe they left to grow their skills, they had a life change, some event in their life caused them to leave, or they've gained new experience, why not keep in touch with them over a time period should something open up down the line that meets their needs? So if an employee leaves on a positive note, if they're eligible for rehire, you should really never end the relationship. It should go on forever because that person is a scarce resource in the labor market and always will be. And chances are, if they left to grow and experience new things, they gain skills and experience that would be valuable to you and your organization should they return. Referrals from your existing team or alumni are another group of talent to keep in your back pocket. According to our research, the vast majority of people are more likely to apply to jobs if someone they know vouches for the company. So even if you have a handful of referrals for a job, but you only hire one, why not keep the rest of this group in your database to nurture and engage over time? It's self-evident. Even if they weren't the right fit at the time, they're likely interested in your company because a trusted friend recommended them, and they're likely very similar to said friend who referred them, who's probably a good employee of yours. And so again, don't think of your relationship with referral candidates is completely over if they're not hired for the specific job they were referred to. Instead, and this is the common theme, you're going to think of them as folks that you're going to build a relationship with over time. We're going to nurture and engage them over time, and they may be a good fit down the line. It's just a function of timing and the strength of that relationship. And the same goes with former applicants and candidates you may have sourced from job boards or other channels previously. So 83% of our survey respondents said they'd be willing to work for an organization that they applied to in the past but weren't hired. So think about this in that linear sense again. You've got 10 applicants for a job. You've paid to receive those applicant leads. You hire one of them, and then the other 9 just kind of sit and wallow in a database. That's the way recruiting's worked forever. But why is that the case? Why not keep in touch and build a relationship with them should something else that they're fit for down the line open up? I mean, of course, this won't apply to all applicants, but by and large, if someone takes the time to apply to your jobs, they're likely interested in working for you then and now, and they have relevant skill and experience. And so it's just a matter of staying in touch with them and finding the right spot and timing eventually. And finally, let's touch on your existing employees, whether they're new hires or experienced veterans. Nurturing employees is a little different because the scope is wider. You want to engage with them so that they don't turn over, meaning you want to communicate with them about the things that they care about. And on the slide here, you'll see the top 4 reasons for loyalty among workers according to our study. Number 1, schedule flexibility. Second is pay that meets their needs. Third would be work they consider fulfilling. And fourth is growth opportunity. So is this job more than just a paycheck? Can I grow my career here? And so nurturing and engaging your existing team should always revolve around these key areas that are important to them. And again, don't take our word for it. This is straight from your employees responding to our applicant study. And so you also want to engage them as a talent pool themselves by sharing open roles internally before you distribute them externally, or by offering job-specific training resources and opportunities that they can move into eventually. And so someone who's a great employee on your team, more often than not, is going to make a great fit for a different role at your org now or in the future. And so you already know them, you already know how they work, and they're proven. They've proven that they can succeed. And so this is really a win-win because most of the time, your best employees are the ones looking for new opportunities to grow their careers. And a third and final way you can stay in touch with your existing team is to help facilitate relationships with the other 3 categories we mentioned. So maybe your best employees can help drive more referrals for you to get into your database, or maybe they can write reviews and testimonials that you can share with past candidates, perhaps on your career site, to showcase why you are a great place to work. And so now that we've dug into these different valuable groups of talent, what exactly do we mean by engaging and nurturing these groups? Well, I've hinted at it earlier, but it's really the same concept as any sales and marketing strategy. You want to reach them with the right messaging at the right time on the right channels. And this means sending different text and email campaigns to different segments of your audience. So whether it's broad segments like, make me a list of all former employees or alumni, or all former applicants for this specific role, they can get more specific. For example, it could be former candidates with more than 3 years of experience and a certain training certification. So overall, the goal is to get a great database of talent that's relatively warm for you, that you can pull from when you need open roles, ultimately helping you source better quality talent and making hires faster. So I'm going to show you some examples, but the operative concept here is let's not start from scratch every time we have an open role. And that's really what Hireology is here to help you support. And so you see here some text and email examples targeted at alumni. The text example mentions an updated flexibility policy, while the email shares an exciting update about a new location opening. Now, neither of these examples are directly recruiting the recipient for a specific role, but rather they're sharing information that might be relevant to that former employee and keeps you really top of mind as an employer should they consider looking for a new job in the future. So this type of alumni messaging is really critical because just like you might not have considered alumni as a great talent pool that you're actively working previously, your alumni might not have considered you as a former employer as an opportunity for work down the line. And so it just keeps that relationship open and the opportunity right in the forefront in their mind. And it reinforces that you value your team members and that you can offer what they're looking for. And these are some great examples at targeting former candidates. You'll see in the text message, the recruiter is directly sharing open roles with a personalized message saying that because they were interested in a job in the past, they might be interested in these new opportunities. In the email the recruiter is sharing includes information about career growth at the company, hitting one of those 4 key areas. And again, these aren't quite as much of a hard sell for a specific role, but they are laying the groundwork for a possible relationship to resume down the line. And the messaging is, again, showing that you value your people and that the business offers what today's talent wants. And finally, I want to show some examples of messaging to existing or current employees, because like I said, this one can be very broad in scope. So in the email example, you'll see the recruiters sharing open roles, noting that they're opening these roles internally first, showing that they value their existing team and they want to provide those growth opportunities. And in the texts, you'll see that one promotes the employee referral program with the link for very easy referral submission, as well as one that promotes the company's flexibility policy, reminding team members that it exists and that they should be taking advantage of these perks. Now, the goal of messages like these are to show employees that you have what they're looking for and to encourage them to leverage those perks to stay engaged and satisfied in their roles. Again, the scope with employee messaging is really broad. And these are just 3 examples among the countless types of messages and campaigns that you could dream up to send to your existing team to build engagement, to improve retention, to drive referrals for new hires, and to fill roles via internal mobility. And of course, all of these types of campaigns and overall relationship building is much, much easier with software to support it. And that's what Kim and team are going to cover in the next section of today's session. So some quick thoughts in terms of what's possible and what today's leading talent acquisition professionals and organizations are doing today. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thanks for being here. Kim, let me turn it over to you.
Great. Thanks so much, Adam. Hi, everybody. So in the next section, we are going to expand upon what we just learned from Adam and really discuss the shift from a traditional to a more proactive and talent-centric recruitment strategy. And we'll get a backstage pass to the product. So I'm Kim Nauer. I am the product marketing lead here at Hireology. I joined the team about 7 months ago. With me today, I do have our group product manager, Ryan O'Donnell. And Ryan joined Hireology as part of an acquisition of Employus, which is now in Hireology Referrals, which we will talk about later on. So earlier in the year, we did survey about 1,000 recruiters, hiring managers, and HR leaders, and 53% of respondents stated that low talent supply was their #1 hiring challenge. So this really tells us that there's an opportunity for you to gain a competitive edge by keeping the talent that you engage with warm and have a consistent pool of candidates. And as Adam mentioned earlier, the recruiting process is no longer linear. So traditional recruitment, as you're probably familiar with, has its benefits, but I want to dig a little deeper and explore how it differs from a talent-centric approach. So traditional recruitment is often characterized as more transactional or short-term. It's really all about those immediate needs. So here we tend to be really reactive, primarily focusing on filling that immediate job opening. Our aim is really to find candidates who are readily available and fit that specific role that we're looking to fill. On the other hand, though, talent-centric recruitment takes a more proactive approach by really placing the candidate at the center of the strategy. So the emphasis shifts towards building and maintaining relationships with the candidates, even when there's no immediate openings. So we're nurturing that pool of potential talent for both current and future hiring needs. Now, the next we'll jump into really are about interacting with candidates, and the next 2 really go hand in hand. So traditional recruitment, our interactions with candidates are often seen as one-time transactions. Again, we reach out if there's an opening, our communication might be limited beyond that point. However, with talent-centric recruitment, we prioritize that ongoing engagement and two-way communication. So this really means fostering open dialogues between recruiters and candidates and creating that sense of connection and engagement through the continuous interaction. Another crucial shift is how we really source talent. So traditional recruitment often leans towards active sourcing methods, again, where we're actively seeking those candidates for that immediate need, like we talked about. With talent-centric, this really introduces us to the world of passive candidates. So those candidates who might not actively be looking for a job, but really possess those valuable skills that we're looking for. And lastly, let's talk about the role of data in recruitment. So sometimes we can underutilize candidate data and have minimal tracking of their interactions or even their preferences. With talent-centric recruitment, we really are leveraging that candidate data and analytics to really gain insights into their behavior, their preferences, and even their engagement levels. So this data-driven approach helps us to refine our strategies over time. So as we kind of reflect on these differences, just remember that the question really isn't which one's right for you. It's about knowing what levers to pull and when. So if you aren't currently being proactive about taking the first steps towards incorporating that more talent-centric recruitment approach in your recruitment strategy, now's the time. So let's take a look at some tactics and strategies to really help you start being more proactive. What's great is once you start incorporating these strategies, you won't have to frantically change gears every time the job market changes. So there's a few tangible ways that you can start shifting your mindset and processes within the Hireology platform. So the first one is really start leveraging automation to help your recruiters be more proactive with candidates. And you can do this by reaching out to candidates, letting them know you've received their application, and keeping them updated on the process. The next one is sponsorship, and you want using sponsorship to really hire for those key roles. Now you might be thinking, hey, sponsorship's a standard recruitment tactic, and it can be, but sponsoring a job can also be talent-centric when it's part of that broader strategy that focuses on targeting, relationship building, and a data-driven decision-making process. We also know that good people know other good people. So your referral program can help you push get more passive candidates in your pipeline and start engaging those candidates. And then finally, building and maintaining meaningful relationships with talent already in your database is crucial to modern hiring. So not only do you generate that passive stream of talent, but you also improve engagement and the candidate experience. So now let's go ahead and dive into each one of these specifically and give you some of those tangible ways to do this in the platform. So the first one is automation. And really one key element to using automation proactively is maintaining consistent candidate engagement. So automated candidate communication not only informs applicants of their status, but it can also keep them engaged from the beginning of the process, right? And setting that stage right away on what they can expect with your brand. It can also streamline your recruitment workflow by freeing up your valuable time for more strategic tasks and decision-making. And finally, automated communications can also be customized to each candidate's unique journey, really providing a more personalized experience that really resonates with applicants. Okay, so let's review some of our automation features that really can play a pivotal role in your talent-centric recruitment process. So first, features like automated candidate communications. These are things that can be sent immediately when a candidate applies for a job. So think that you receive an application, thank you so much for applying, and setting the stage as to when that candidate can expect to hear back from you. So this not only provides the candidate with that confirmation of their application, but it really does set the stage for your brand. And these automated messages do not have to sound like they are coming from a robot. As we talked about on a previous slide, you can really personalize at scale and still make the candidate feel valued and understood. You can also automatically trigger requests for additional information when candidates apply with our automated outreach. So right now you can request missing information for first name, last name, resume, and email. But in the next 2 weeks, we are actually launching an enhancement that is going to send a communication anytime a required field is missing from your application. So this not only helps you gather information efficiently, but it also indicates to the job seeker that there's progress being made on their application. And finally, writing job descriptions is an incredibly tedious task. Earlier this year, we did launch Beaker. This is Hireology's AI assistant to a select group of customers who participated in a beta. And I am happy to announce that we will be rolling that out this month to all customers. So using AI to really write those job descriptions, at least a first pass, can help you become more talent-centric and proactive. And it really helps you by ensuring that job postings are optimized and attract the right candidates with inclusive language. These are just a few of the examples that we have in our automation suite. But if you're interested in learning more, I encourage you, we have a really great automation checklist that I've linked here. We will be sending the slides out, so you'll be able to click on these, and our automation recruitment guide. So I encourage you to check those out. Excuse me. Okay, let's dive into the nitty-gritty on how this works. So it's super, super easy to enable these in our platform. The best place to start is by going to settings and automation. There, you're going to be able to enable whichever automations you choose. So you can simply just toggle on the automations, and you'll be able to then use our templates or even customize the messaging. All right, so all of our automations are located on the settings page, like I said, but diving into each automation specifically, the first is the automated candidate communications. And this again helps streamline the recruitment processes by allowing the Hireology platform to send applicants that confirmation message. So the application received will send a communication after the application is submitted, informing them that it was received and it will be reviewed soon. The application to be reviewed option is a message that would be sent informing them that their application will be reviewed soon based on a set time frame of your choosing. So you can say something like, "Thank you so much for applying. We'll get back to you in 24 hours." All right, next is automated outreach missing information. So again, once enabled, you can see on the screenshot on the left-hand side that the application status says incomplete. The right-hand side of your screen is what the email looks like when the candidate is asked to provide additional information. So they'll get a link in that email with a form that they'll be able to enter that additional information without needing to log in. So no barrier to entry there. All right, and then finally, it is easier than ever to post your jobs quickly with AI. As I mentioned, our AI is powered by ChatGPT. It uses natural language processing to really generate your job descriptions quickly. When creating your job, you'll now see a button to create the job description with AI. So you simply will click that and a job description will automatically populate based on the details you provided, like job title and location on the previous step. And then Beaker will instantly generate that clear and concise job description that's optimized for search. And again, this is going to be launching this month, so be on the lookout for that. Awesome. So next up, we're going to switch gears and talk about sponsorship. So sponsoring a job on Indeed can increase visibility and reach a wider audience of job seekers, which ultimately reduces the time to hire. In fact, Indeed sponsored jobs deliver 55% more applicants than organic job postings. So with traditional recruitment, you may want to sponsor key roles or hard to fill positions. Sponsoring a job can also be seen as a proactive strategy, as I mentioned, to really fill those future roles and create that passive pipeline. So when you're sponsoring a job, you attract a pool of applicants, and it's not just a one-time transaction. You need to think of it as more of a longer-term investment, right? In a pool of potential talent. You've already invested the time and resources in attracting those candidates, and it makes strategic sense to really nurture this talent for those future opportunities. Next, these applicants are a valuable resource you've already paid for, right? So by nurturing and maintaining these relationships, you're essentially creating a more cost-effective talent pipeline. So when the right position opens up in the future, you won't have to start from scratch to source qualified candidates. You can tap into this pool of pre-engaged and prepaid talent. And lastly, continuing to engage with the candidates, even when they don't land the position, really contributes to a positive candidate experience, right? Candidates can appreciate organizations that really value their skills and career aspirations. And it's not just about the role they applied for, but really that entire journey with your company. So the great news is yesterday we launched Indeed sponsored jobs. So now you can really maximize your reach, manage your costs, and streamline your processes all within Hireology. So sponsored jobs can increase your visibility, reach really a wider audience of job seekers, and help you boost your applicant volume for those critical roles. Indeed, sponsored jobs also are more likely to attract quality applicants who are really actively searching for jobs. In fact, because sponsored jobs reach candidates sooner, they are 4.5 times more likely to result in a hire than non-sponsored jobs. You will be able to streamline your processes and manage all your hiring needs directly in one system. So ultimately, this helps you get new jobs on the market sooner. So our recent Hireology research found that 61% of job seekers today accept the first offer they receive. So this really makes it all the more critical for you to move as fast as possible to get your jobs in front of that great talent. So with sponsored jobs, you can also manage your budget directly from the Hireology platform, really giving you that full transparency you need to make smarter spending decisions. And finally, you do get predictive and enhanced insights to measure the effectiveness of your recruitment efforts, optimize that strategy over time, and confidently plan future campaigns. So how does it work? So in order to start sponsoring your job on Indeed, you will need to first connect your Indeed account. If you already have an Indeed account, you'll be just providing your credentials. If you don't have an Indeed employer account, you'll simply create an account through this process. Once that's done, you'll be able to select the start and end dates of your campaign to run. Then you'll want to enter your maximum amount of spend on that campaign. The performance estimate offers a prediction of results based on budget, similar jobs, and just campaign duration. This information all comes from Indeed and is based on their past performance. It does not guarantee your future performance, but will give you more guidelines on what to expect. And then once the order is placed, you will be billed directly through Indeed. The campaign will begin on that selected start date, and you'll be able to edit or manage the campaign from our insights to see how it's performing. So that was a really quick overview of our exciting launch that we had yesterday. I do encourage you all to take out your phones, scan this QR code. We are having a joint webinar coming up on the 27th with Indeed. So if you want to learn more, get a deeper dive into how this works in our platform, you'll also hear directly from our partner manager at Indeed, who is going to discuss how search results work and how to optimize your performance. I really encourage you to join us in this upcoming webinar. Great. So I am now going to pass it off to Ryan, who is going to cover referrals and then give you a sneak peek into campaigns and audience lists. So Ryan, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Kim. So as you all know, employee referral programs can play a really pivotal role in shifting your recruitment strategy from reactive to proactive. Consistently, referrals rank one of the best sources for new hires. And they can make your recruitment strategies more proactive in a couple of ways. First, good people know good people. Employee referrals typically tap into an employee's personal and professional networks of the folks who would be a good fit for your organization. These folks might not be actively job seeking. They might currently be employed at a competitor or have experience working inside of your industry. And your employees have those relationships from their past roles at other companies or with groups that they're affiliated with out there in the community. The second thing is it really allows, referral programs encourage employees to refer candidates that actually meet your talent's requirements to make sure that you're prepared to be fully staffed. I think a lot of times we can think about recruiting as being much more, reactive, where we're posting jobs when we're in a crisis, when we have a person who just left, when we've got a new role that we've got to fill. With referrals, you can really get the word out and build a pipeline of folks who would be a good fit for future roles. As Adam was saying, sometimes it's not the first job that someone gets referred for that they're a perfect fit for, but it allows you to have a good relationship and really start that relationship with a candidate with your best foot forward. The last part here is all around employee advocacy. Typically, when an employee is participating in their referral program, they're your best internal champions. The first question on Glassdoor is, would you recommend your company to a friend? And, the employees who are talking about your company on social media, who are encouraging their friends to apply, are some of the best folks that you want to retain. You want to amplify those stories, and you want to give them easy tools to help, be a great recruiter as well. If you can take your best employees and really give them the tools to promote your brand, share your jobs, you can really build a great talent pipeline of high quality referrals. So, typically what we see is that employees refer candidates that they think will also be a better cultural fit for the company. It does generally lead to candidates that stay employed longer compared to non-referral sources. And they also tend to get hired faster than candidates from other sources as well. So these are all ways where you can get more proactive with using referrals. And the nice thing about Hireology is our platform is really the only hiring platform that's got a fully integrated employee referral technology. So unlike other systems where there might just be a drop-down box and you have to manage it in spreadsheets and in emails, with Hireology and Hireology referrals, you can really run a really robust employee referral program all inside of the platform. So whether or not you already have a program, you're thinking about possibly revamping it, or you just want to start one from scratch, I really encourage you to try it out. It's a great way to shift the paradigm from kind of the traditional linear recruitment to a much more proactive one. Using Hireology referrals, you can leverage our text and email templates to launch your referral program, get the word out to your employees, encouraging them to participate. You can track their participation, track all of their referrals in one place, and most importantly, help process all of those referral bonuses without missing any of those payouts or having to keep track of it on sticky notes or spreadsheets or whiteboards. You've got a clear place to know exactly how much you need to pay and when. We generally find the customers that are using referrals, they are hiring referred candidates 4 days faster compared to non-referrals. And later on, we'll be sharing a little bit more about how one of our customers has been using this to really build out their kind of proactive recruiting strategy. So that's a little bit about employee referral programs and why they're so important. What I also want to talk about now is some new functionality that we're going to be introducing here very soon around an improved campaign manager and the ability to build really proactive audience lists. So, as Adam was saying, in traditional recruitment marketing, you leverage a multi-channel sourcing strategy. You don't rely on only one thing. We're not only doing career fairs. We're not only posting jobs. Definitely would not recommend we try to fill 100% of our roles with any one channel. So you see some of the familiar ones here where, we're probably already spending some time and resources to get candidates from these sources. But it also becomes critical to have a diversified sourcing strategy, not only to attract new talent, but also to engage the talent who you've already engaged with, the folks who have already applied for your roles. Just a quick stat here, we see that a typical Hireology customer has, on average, about 10,000 applicants in their database across all of their locations and across all of their jobs. So how do you go about actually engaging those 10,000 folks? Well, this is exactly what Adam was alluding to earlier. You have to attract the right people, but also engage with them, even if they're not actively looking for a job or open to new opportunities. This type of proactive approach helps really broaden your talent pool and helps you build longer term relationships with those candidates. Instead of only talking to a candidate during that application process over maybe a 1 to 2 week period of time, you're building longer term relationships that are lasting 6, 12, 24 months, so that when there's the right role for them, you've already identified them, you've already engaged them, and they're ready to get plugged in to your organization. Now you might be thinking, I'm already stretched for time. I've got a lot of things to do when it comes to just filling the recs that we already have. How do you have time to actually engage candidates at scale when there are a lot of relationships to manage there? Well, that's really where a new set of functionality that we are going to be unveiling here can help you do that. You can segment your talent into different lists. Perhaps you really want to focus on former candidates, the folks who might have been a little bit too overqualified or underqualified for a role. You might want to target those past employees. With all this in place, you can really set up a variety of different automated campaigns to do this and engage with them at scale to keep them warm, but also not something that requires you to log in every day and manually send out emails and texts to candidates and know every single day, who do you want to reach out to? That's a great job for some software to help you keep track of and make sure that you're keeping all of your candidates warm, and ultimately reducing the time it takes to fill a position. So we're really thrilled to introduce our latest features here to help you shift to a more proactive recruiting strategy with our campaign manager and with audience lists. So, imagine as Hireology is really the central hub for all of your talent sources. You already have all of your applicant data from all of the job postings as those candidates are applying. And like I mentioned, many customers have thousands of applicants inside of Hireology. Now you can easily organize all of those candidates in your network into proactive lists to actively source them for future roles. Also, with our HRIS integrations, we can pull in all of your post-hire data as well so that you can track both your current and former employees. So you've got really one database that has all of this information where you can build and manage these lists in one place. We have a lot of different filters I'll be showing here shortly for you to filter based on an application status, what star ratings they had, what skills they had, what locations they applied for. You might find that you've got candidates in one location, and if you're opening up a new store or a new property, 10 minutes, 20 minutes down the road, you might want to engage candidates that applied for roles at a similar location. So really, whether you want to engage alumni, support your internal mobility programs, or just reconnect with past candidates, with this, you can really enhance your candidate engagement in a way that's much more targeted and help you align with all of your hiring objectives. Plus, you can really target it and make it as specific as possible. So you're not blasting out what could perceive to some candidates as an irrelevant message or something that's not very personalized. You can get very precise in how you want to target to make sure that these candidates feel like, they're not just getting another canned message or, just a laundry list of jobs to apply for. They're actually hearing about your company. They're learning about news about it, things you're doing out there in the community, and different reasons why your brand should stay top of mind for them. With our new campaigns tool, once you have the actual audiences that you want to engage and nurture them, we've got a much more extensive library of campaign templates to make it really easy to create those messages to align to all of your recruitment objectives. So if you want to promote a career fair, we've got a template for that. If you want to engage past candidates, those silver medalists, we've got a template for that. If you want to send a text message to your current employees asking for referrals, you can do that and so much more. So you can set up a lot of these to run automatically and really kind of set and forget, or you can be much more proactive and send them out on demand as well if you've got particular events you want to get the word out about. But it's about a lot more than just making it easier to send out those campaigns. It's really about building longer term relationships with those candidates. In the chat, we're talking about how sometimes it can be hard. You maybe feel a little bit of resistance to reaching out to a candidate that you previously rejected. You don't necessarily leave things in the best possible place. But when you tell a candidate that they didn't get the job, that creates a great opportunity for you to say, but we want to stay in touch. And instead of relying on you to do the work and for you to check out our job site, we're going to stay in touch with you. We want to stay in front of you. We want to make sure that you know about what roles are opening, what, if we've got a new property opening up in your community, we want you to know about that. We want to keep those candidates primed to join, our organization. And this proactive approach can really help speed up your time to hire here. So with that, what I want to do is actually show you all a preview of our new campaign manager and way to build out audience lists. So give me 1 second here. I'll go ahead and pull this up. So inside of our new audience manager and campaign manager, what we have historically allowed you to do is build lists of your employees and send them campaigns promoting your employee referral program. Now, that's great for running a really robust employee referral program, but we heard from a lot of you saying that what you want to be able to do is also send other types of messages to your employees, but also to engage your applicants. So what we have here is a series of lists of our applicant data. And as you can see here, I've got my inactive candidates with 4 or 5 stars, candidates who took a higher offer, a sourcing list, my caregiver pipeline. You got lots of different options here. What I want to show you is how you can actually build these lists, harnessing all of the data inside of Hireology. So we've got an expanded set of features that you can use to filter your candidates based on their current application status, their star ratings, what roles they applied for, what types of roles, where they applied for, and things like their disposition code. We don't want to send the same message to a candidate who, we interviewed and we do not want to hire them ever, right? You want to suppress those. You don't want to waste your time reaching out to candidates that you're not going to hire. But if you had a candidate that was not interested because of the salary, you might want to reach back out to them. You might want to target candidates who applied over a year ago. You've got all of these options in here to target and really build a precise list of candidates who might be a good fit. All of these candidates and all of these lists get updated in real time, automatically, directly from the data inside of Hireology. So as you're using the system more, as you're tagging candidates, as you're updating their profiles, as you're moving them from applicants to candidates, getting them hired, you're making it easier for you to engage with candidates at scale by collecting all that data and then being able to repurpose that and build out different lists. Now, once you have those lists, you can build out different campaigns. So let's say I wanted to send out a campaign to my caregiver talent pipeline. I've got a little over 1,800 people in that list. I can go right here and I can say, I want to create a campaign from that list. I can choose a campaign from one of our templates, or I can just start from scratch. So for right now, I want to send out an email campaign to all of my caregiver pipeline. And what I want to do here is I want to send out some of our most recent jobs. And I want to pull in my jobs here, and I want to pull in all of the jobs that are in the Chicago area. And what I want to do, I want to put in, let's have 10 jobs included. And, we're not asking for referrals here, so I'm going to uncheck that box. What I want to do is encourage people to apply for our role. So I'm going to update some of our call to actions here. Instead of asking for referrals, I'm going to promote people to check out our careers page here. And then you can edit all the information about your campaign, like the subject, the body of the message, and really so much more here. Once you got your campaign set, you can always send a test message to yourself. And then what you can do is you can build the right audience. So you can see here, I've already created a list. And you see I'm sending out an email. I've got 242 people of unique emails that are my applicants that are in my caregiver talent pipeline. If I want to change that, I can pick any lists that I want. And if I also wanted to send a message to my employees, I could do that as well too. So if you wanted to mix up who you're sending out your campaigns to, super easy to do that. And then when you're ready to actually send your message, you can pick exactly when you want that message to go out and have it scheduled. It's really easy to do that. And if you want to do that at scale, what you can do is create some of these campaigns. And then if you're a company that has a lot of different locations and you want to get the word out about jobs in their local market, you can easily copy or duplicate that exact campaign across all of your properties without having to recreate every single one. You just click copy to all programs, and you're good to go. What's nice about this is all of the campaigns that our customers have been sending to promote their referral programs, you now can do to send out campaigns to your applicants for any of the use cases that we've been talking about, engaging former employees, former candidates, current employees, and current candidates. We'll have a refreshed way to engage all of your employees as well. So you've got one really easy to use experience, whether you're engaging current employees, former employees, or your applicant data. And again, all of it's synced in real time, so you don't have to worry about uploading different spreadsheets or making sure that these lists are kept up to date. We'll keep track of all of that for you. So you just have to think about what types of campaigns you want to run. The possibilities are really endless here. So it's really any types of campaigns you can dream up, we want to help you build. And like I said, this functionality is coming soon. And if you're interested in using it, would definitely love to talk with you more about it. We'll be sharing some more information soon about different ways that you can engage and get previews to this feature and start using it. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it back. Thank you all so much.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. All right, lots to think about there. But I'm thrilled to announce a customer who has actually been using campaigns and referrals and is going to share her experience. So up next, we have Tennille Schmidt joining us. She is a SHRM CP, Director of Human Resources at Brant Hospitality Group. She was born and raised in North Dakota, where she attended North Dakota State University, earning a degree in business management with an emphasis in human resources. Tennille still resides in Fargo, North Dakota with her husband, Brandon. They have a little Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. His name is Maisie. And she's been working in the HR field for over a decade now, primarily in solo or really small HR departments, leading her to be a generalist working in all areas. She shares that her most rewarding part of her job is turning a difficult conversation with a team member into an opportunity for self-realization, growth, and empowerment. In her free time, she really enjoys peaceful weekends at the lake with a good book, trying a new workout routine, or a drama-filled reality TV, which same girl. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Tennille.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today. I'm excited to share about, well, I guess I'll just maybe start with a little bit more background on Brant Hospitality Group and our team here. So we are a hotel development company. So we build the hotels that then we turn over to the management side to staff and then operate our hotels. We have 900 total team members and a very small HR team to assist those hotels and team members, myself and my counterpart Perry here. And just when it comes to the recruiting and hiring process, we are here to implement and manage the systems and processes, but then the day-to-day posting of the jobs, interviewing, hiring is decentralized to our hotel managers. And so with that, we're here to be a resource for them and try to make their lives easier. And with that came the opportunity to partner on with the referral platform, the Hireology referral platform, which we did shortly after COVID. In the hotel industry, we have had and continue to have hiring challenges, even pre-COVID, but definitely progressed even more as we started to rebound from COVID. And just as, I'll admit probably my first reaction was, oh, another system to manage. But when I really looked at the ROI that comes out of employee referrals in comparison to other sourcing techniques, the numbers really show that investment in your employee referral program is the way to go, as you see from the little snapshot of our statistics here. So averaging 25 referrals per month, a 51% referral to hire conversion percentage, which I just did a quick look in our system now, and our the main job boards that we use. We're at under 5%. So that 51% really stands out and is worth the investment for us. So prior to implementing the Hireology referral system, we did have a manual, very paper, as Ryan said, we were that token paper, flyers at the time clock, flyers up around the hotel, encouraging your managers to socialize the program as much as they could, but really relying on them on the follow through of it all. And then on our end, making sure that we're not paying out those bonuses when they come due. So the system really has helped us streamline that process from the socialization aspect of it all, and the tracking and managing and the reporting that comes along with it. Like I said, I was starting to get like SOS calls and emails from managers saying nobody's applying on job boards anymore, and have to shift their mindset of like you guys have shared throughout the presentation today, more of a proactive approach versus the reactive approach. And I think the employee referral program and some of the new tools that you guys have mentioned will be key in that the sourcing challenge that we continue to see. Let's see. Okay, so our program itself is very simple. So I guess I would encourage anybody that's, if you don't have a program, you can start very basic, very simple. You don't have to throw a ton of money at it. We offer $100 after 30 days and $100 after 90 days. I would say that also probably fits within, I would say industry-wise, maybe that it would have to be higher in different industries, but with us, it's a lot of line level, entry-level employees, so that number has worked for us. Since we've started with the Hireology referral platform, that's where we set it, and that's where it stayed, and we've still continued to see success from it. Not that we wouldn't be opposed to increasing, it's just seemed to work. Okay, so we've left it there. But the huge thing with the platform is the socialization aspect of it all. We're not relying on, okay, did the manager send out the announcement? Did they not? We are in control of the campaigns that go out. So we send both the text and email campaigns. We see 11% of the referrals come through the text and 4% from email. I think there is benefit to doing both, but for sure text message, just like, text recruiting has really gained popularity and just the quickness of it and it just being in the users at their fingertips at all times, their cell phone. Socialization is something that we continue to try to get managers to do more frequently. Of course, we get varying buy-in at the different hotels, which you can see in the system, which I like. So if you see, all right, usage is dropping off, you can nudge a manager to say, hey, probably need to get back in your system and look at the referrals that you have, or, communicate it some more at your hotel. At the hotels, we do a thing called huddle, and I think it's in the retail industry too. So just like before the start of your shift, huddle, talk about the major topics, and I think that's a good time to celebrate the referrals that have come in, the hires that have come out of the referrals, share the dollar amounts that are being awarded on paychecks and things like that. We also share in our company newsletter kind of the top referrers, and so that's a good place to do something like that as well. Best practices as the campaigns themselves go. Well, again, simple bonus structures have worked for us. We recently, Megan, our customer success manager, and I synced up, and we drafted like 5 or 6 campaigns to go out monthly and to set them up in advance so that, we all get caught up in the day-to-day of all of our other duties, probably a lot of people doing more than just managing, your recruiting and your referral system. So for some of those things to fall off of our priority list. And so to schedule them in advance, I think is going to be huge for us. It's just, again, that constant reminder to the manager, to the team members, and something that we have to think about once it's set. And for us, we do monthly campaigns, and try to call out a specific call to action if we can. Like, hey, what would be better than working alongside a friend of yours? You know, like in housekeeping, for example, they can pair up and work in a room together, you know, so it doesn't maybe feel as much like work. It's more like hanging out with a friend. Or around different times of year, so the holidays, you know, earn extra cash for holiday gifts. Around the school year, you know, schools back in session, any college students come back to the area that might be looking for employment, or, you know, on the flip side, when school's out for summer, any kids looking for part-time work, just trying to make it as specific of a call to action as you can, so they don't have to think about it as much, or it might spark a specific person. It would come to mind of who they could refer to work with us. I would say, again, I think I've said it throughout, you know, start simple and progress from there. So, I mean, we started very simple, and we like to date, we've been using the referral program simply for referrals, but I'm really excited to try to implement some of what I learned today. You know, we're always adapting and improving. An example would be, like, we just went to a career fair here in Fargo, one of the local colleges, and we got a list of a bunch of names, email address, phone number, you know, positions that they're interested in. So I'm excited to add that to the platform, and reach out to them now and or in the future. We do get our fair share of boomerang employees where, you know, they'll leave and come back. But I mean, this got me thinking, there could be more out there. And if we gave them a specific, you know, this has changed within the company since the last time, or since you last worked with us, you know, have you thought about coming back? I think we could get more to come back that way. So I'm excited about that. So again, we've been using the system about a year, and we've just seen really phenomenal numbers by doing very basic things, but I'm excited to take it to the next step. So 14 campaigns, 350 referrals, 179 hires, 51% conversion. Oh, I forgot that you updated this. Sorry. So those numbers might be a little bit off, but we just put out another campaign, so the numbers are a little bit higher than what I had last. So every time we put out a campaign, we see those referrals come in and they're converting to hires, and that's really all you can hope for. But I just wanted to also give a shout out to Megan, our customer success manager. Again, I said before, we have a very small team of just the two of us, and she feels like an extension of our team. You know, she's here to help us think about how we can push our program further, how we can make it easier for ourselves, for our managers. And so she does a great job checking in and giving us advice and helping us see things through. So really appreciate that. And yeah, like I said, just feels like an extension of our team here. And then also our managers, you know, we can put out the program, but ultimately it's on them to continue to show that we have a great culture within the hotel, and a reason for our current employees to refer people they know to our hotels. So that's always a big piece of the puzzle as well. But yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us, Tennille, and sharing. I know a little bit of a real life example always helps me personally. It's like, this sounds great. I love it. What do I do next? So I think that's really key to share. So thank you again for your time, and hopefully everyone learned a little bit of what we can do as next steps here. So before we go into the Q&A, I want to just take a quick moment to go over today's takeaways. So we learned from Adam that the overall job market has experienced some cooling over the last few months compared to what we saw throughout 2021 and 2022. It's important to approach recruiting from a unique perspective and build relationships with potential candidates. Since we are facing a unique challenge when it comes to the job market, you can't just do what you've always done. It's important to start deploying proactive recruitment strategies to ensure that you stay competitive. It's easy to start shifting towards this talent-centric recruitment in Hireology with automation, communications, Indeed sponsorships, referrals, and these campaign and audience lists. Of course, we got the sneak peek into campaigns and audience lists with Ryan. That's going to help you build and maintain relationships with various groups of talent, from alumni, potential candidates, to existing employees. Campaigns can help you engage, nurture, communicate with individuals at different stages of their relationship. Of course, the goal is always building a strong rapport with them, time over time, and really focusing on, rather than focusing on immediate recruitment needs. You see here, we also have that QR code that Kim brought up for our Indeed webinar that's coming up on the 27th. If you didn't already register when she had it up a moment ago, here's another good opportunity. It's a really great way, again, to streamline all of your processes. Feel like everybody sponsors on Indeed. We can make it a little bit easier. If life could just be 10% easier for everybody, wouldn't we want it to be? Here's your opportunity to get 10% within your workday. With that, we have about 15-ish minutes left, so we are going to open it up to Q&A. So there was a question that came in when Ryan was chatting, and Ryan, if you're up for it, I just want to kind of have you reiterate your answer. So we had a customer ask, can we add those who are not in Hireology into this referral program? So non-Hireology candidates.
Yeah, definitely. So we currently support this a couple of different ways. So currently, if you're a referrals customer, you can upload any list of contacts that you want into the system and create custom lists. It's been a little harder, honestly, I think, for some customers to do that because it's the same list as your employees. So it can be difficult if you have some other integrations running to keep a current employee roster in sync. So to fix that, we're actually unveiling kind of like two things. One, we've always had the ability to bulk upload candidates into Hireology. We find this will often happen when customers are switching to Hireology. They've got some past applicant data from their previous ATS. They want to get into Hireology for tracking. So we do allow that as a kind of our first step to getting your data into the system. Also, as a part of our updated campaign manager and list builder, we are going to allow you to create a list from a CSV uploader. So you can just upload a custom file and create a static list of anyone. That list won't stay up to date, because it's based kind of solely on what you upload, but can be a great option if you go to like a lot of career fairs, if you do a lot of sourcing offline or outside of Hireology. It can be a great way for you to capture that data, upload it, and then kind of continue to remarket to them. So if anyone's got any other questions about that, more than happy to keep diving in as well too.
Cool, thanks, Ryan. And I know this customer, Kim, said, where can I find that tutorial? Kim, we will reach out to you directly and make sure we can get you kind of a step-by-step. And if anyone else is interested in that, go ahead and just raise your hand too. We'll make sure everyone gets it. But Ryan verbally kind of walked us through that, which is great. Got just some thanks coming in. Thank you so much. We had someone that just kind of dropped a note in the chat. I think while Adam was chatting, he said, I always feel so bad when we don't select a candidate. It's hard to reach back out to them, even though I know it's beneficial. And we were kind of lamenting in the chat, like, it is. And I think this was alluded to, like, if you don't leave it on the best note, it can be awkward. And I think we've all done it of, yeah, we'll keep in touch, we'll keep you in mind in the future. And you don't have the bandwidth to do it. Your best intentions just kind of go for naught. So what we're describing here, these campaigns allow you to actually follow through with that. Even if it's not like, hey, Bobby, it's me, Sally, calling you directly. It's a campaign, but it looks personalized. It's tuned into what you had discussed, the jobs they had applied for, the time frame you promised. How often do we say, like, yeah, I'll follow up with you in 6 months, something might change, and you're like, oh wow, it's been 6 months, it's been a year already. Whoops, like that slipped by. So this is a really good opportunity to really follow through on those conversations without taking your whole work day without eliminating all other responsibilities. Let's see, we got Randy here. We also attend job fairs and compile lists and sign-up sheets. Would these people end up being loaded into the connector section of a referral system, or would we have the ability to set them up in a separate list? So again, I think this is going to be a Ryan question. Ryan, does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, today, Randy, those folks, the way to upload them is to add them as connectors. What we're going to be coming out with is a way to separate those out so you can sync and build lists from your applicant data, your employee data, or from a separate list. So that separate list will ultimately live as an applicant type of list. That'll be a custom list separate from your employees. So if you have a HRIS integration, that'll be completely separate. You won't have to worry about those manual uploads getting deactivated, things like that.
Awesome. And I think, something that you showed, Ryan, with the filtering functioning, something you could start doing today in preparation for this is assigning tags, leaving really detailed disposition codes if you're rejecting people for reasons why. That's going to help start to organize your database. So, when you have this functionality unlocked or you start to move forward with this, it's not like, oh, this is going to take me a month to get set up. You've got tags, you've got disposition codes you can easily plug and play and just kind of continue that work. A good question, and this is on me for not saying this first. Yes, this will be recorded and sent out after. You'll also get the PDF of this presentation, so if you want to refer back, you'll have that opportunity. Just looking at the chat, I don't think there's anything else outstanding, but we can give it another moment if anybody is, furiously typing out a question. I'll say it again here. I know Tennille already mentioned it, but big shout out to her customer success manager, Megan DePillo. We love having her. If anyone else has worked with her, big love to her on this. And I think we've answered all the questions. Just some thank yous coming in. Awesome. All right. Love something ending on time. Great. Thank you all so much for your time, your attention, your questions. Thank you to all of our participants again today with Ryan and Kim, with Adam, and then of course our customer Tennille. Like I mentioned, this is recorded. We will get you the PDF. We'll be following up with all attendees and registrants, shortly here in the next 24 hours with that information. If you have questions or concerns, you certainly have access to your customer success management team. There's also our support team here. And of course, I'm sure you all have my email at some point, so you're welcome to reach out to us as well. But thank you again for your time. We really appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day.